In general, I don't like mechanics that encourage death, like the fucking
I agree, exactly.
Gris Gris. I think that shit's really cringe. And I think anyone who likes the Gris Gris is a big hater. Welcome to the Dota Club Podcast. This is going to be a particularly based episode because I've been doing some really not too based though, just like straight based.
Just straight based. Okay.
I was doing some reading today, and I don't want to like jump right into it right now, but it really applies to Dota. And it's just going to be straight.
Well, before we get into it, I noticed that one of us is in costume. So what are you as? Like, what's your costume right now?
I'll give you a hint.
You know what people... Dude, I mean, everyone's going to know it's Furion. But, like, that shit's the Witch Doctor. That shit's the Witch Doctor ult.
Well, how else would you do the TP?
No, that is the TP, though. That is the TP.
Yeah. Did you like how I TP'd out of
You know what I like about Furion? Just as an aside really quick. I love Furion's auto attack animation because normally he like takes a staff and he like throws it this way, but every once in a while you get a swaggy one where he's like,
yeah, and he like
whips it backhand.
Wait, I thought that was a cosmetic. That's like with the sheep stick, right?
I think that's with the sheep stick, but it's not every auto. It's like every couple of autos or some shit. Like with the sheep stick, he's like whipping it sideways and shit. Like he goes crazy.
No. He's whipping it sideways.
Bro, he's doing it sideways. God,
no, that's a cool thing about Dota. How like the different heroes have different auto attack animations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like anti-mage will hit with his left hand and his right hand, and then I love anti-mages because every once in a while he hits like a double like two-hander over the head.
Isn't that so like if you crit?
I don't think so. You just do it randomly.
Really? He really hits that? I know which animation you're talking about, but I didn't think he like hits that.
Maybe I'm thinking about a different hero, but I'm pretty sure anti-mage hits it like
that. No, he hits the double. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, you were saying something before I talked about Furion.
Yeah. So what's your costume, by the way?
I'm Kunkka.
You want to tell the viewers?
Just kidding. I'm Pango, or Kunkka, or a pirate. But let's go with Kunkka. I think Kunkka makes the most sense. I am no. I'm Kunkka. Red cosmetic. He has the red bandana cosmetic as well.
I think you're closer to Pango than Kunkka.
Yeah, probably.
Because you have like Pango also has like the light skin and the beige shirt.
Yeah, and Kunkka the light skin.
I mean, Kunkka has olive skin.
Kunkka also has light skin. No,
I feel like he's more tan.
No, I'm just not like fitted up enough to be Kunkka because he has like he's the admiral, right? Like I'm not an admiral. I'm like a fucking filthy. I'm just
you're a scrub. You're a pirate grunt. I think a scrub is like an accurate term for a pirate grunt. Like you're a scrub on the boat because you like scrub the boat.
I scrub the poop deck or something.
That's
like
Pango.
That. Exactly.
That's the
Kunkka's the fucking admiral. He needs to be fitted up with the blue like fucking trench coat and shit. And he like tide bringers the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Me pulling up at Halloween and I fucking dropped the torrent boat.
And you've got the Admiral's rum there, eh?
I do have the Admiral's rum. I don't know if I should be sipping on the podcast.
No. Don't like put it in front of the camera. I don't know how chill it is for YouTube, actually.
Sorry. I'm sipping on the Admiral's rum, and I'm taking out half damage. Yeah. You can cut it out maybe if you want.
Good news as well for the podcast. We are officially sponsored by SteelSeries.
That's a crazy thing to just drop on the podcast.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean...
We are, though.
Yeah, so we're going to TI 16?
Next TI.
TI 15? I don't know which one it is.
Partnered with SteelSeries.
To make content there for you guys.
Get your SteelSeries headphones. Get your SteelSeries merch.
Yeah.
You guys are chilling, right?
No, I actually have SteelSeries headphones on.
I am also rocking some Artiz
9s. These are pretty good.
No, they're fire.
They sent me like a keyboard today.
They sent you a keyboard?
Yeah, bro. We're officially partnered by SteelSeries. I wasn't kidding.
Chungus? No way.
I think I'm gonna
did
start
Mr. This. May send you that?
Yeah, he did.
What, bro? We're sponsored by SteelSeries. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, it's pretty beast.
That's fucking insane.
Anyway, the content that I wanted to get in on. By the way, Brian, if you're watching this, thank you so much. You're definitely going to hear from me like in the DM, but you're a beast. He also gave me these horns.
He is a beast. He gave you the horns?
Because he was at TI. And
those were from TI?
Yeah,
wow. Shout out Brian.
Yeah.
That's our SteelSeries Connect. That's our guy.
What I wanted to talk about, though, was... So I've talked about this a little bit on my YouTube channel. There's a blog that I read called Farum Street. Right. And it's written by, like, big boss, hedge fund, gigachads, like people who have worked with the FBI, people who have worked with the CIA. And it's basically about, like, how to think and how to make decisions.
Okay.
And I'm just like into that kind of content. Naturally, I'm like a pretty ambitious dude. But a lot of this applies really, really well to Dota, right? So I was reading some today, and there are some really good analogies that I wanted to bring up. And one was that when you're like doing something in life, make sure you're not multiplying by 0. That's like their diction for it. And so the example they used was a really famous inventor. I forget who it was. I think it was it was Nikola Tesla. So for anyone who knows history, that guy was a genius and he invented a lot of things, but everyone hated him. He was like the least likable person that there is. And so that was their example of like multiplying by 0, because he was doing all this amazing work, but then because he wasn't likable, nothing would come out of it because he wasn't likable. So not being likable is like multiplying by 0.
What's the Dota equivalent of multiplying by 0 then?
Yeah. So let's think about. I mean, do you think I explained the general one clear enough first? Because in math, if you multiply by 0, it doesn't matter what else is there. It just automatically goes to 0.
No matter how much work you do.
That's the point.
I understand that.
So in Dota, okay, let's think. If I'm playing a core hero, and let's say that I build a shit ton of damage, okay? So I have like Daedalus, fucking Butterfly on my SF or something. But it doesn't matter how much damage I do if I just die in the team fight.
Sure. Okay.
So that's like multiplying by 0 is not building a survivability item, because it doesn't matter how much damage you do if the proper play for the enemy is to just jump you. That's one example.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Applying that or making that like a general framework sounds difficult though. Because like,
why?
Okay, because like what else is multiplying by 0? Like, yeah, if you build all damage and you get jumped full to 0, that's multiplying by 0. But what else like completely nullifies your impact in the game?
I think that's the only like application of this that I can think of in Dota, but I think it's a pretty good one.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of filthy core players just build damage and then die. Or in a lot of our lobbies, they don't get punished for just building damage.
BSJ had a great video about, it was particular to carry itemization, but he generalized it really well, where it's like, first item's a farming item. That's your Battle Fury. That's your Maelstrom, right? Second item is something that lets you live. And then third item is something that lets you kill. Because killing isn't useful unless you live, which is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You're multiplying by 0 if you're building to kill. But
exactly. So that's why I really like that BSJ, like kind of, the thing is that like, it also depends on the hero. Because I think carries, you need to like be more survivable and not be killable. Whereas like, for example, on mids, a lot of the times you could like build items to kill the enemy before they kill you.
Yeah, so like, that is a form of survivability if you're like really ahead.
Exactly. So there's nuance.
You're going to have more levels, you're going to have more strength.
Okay, because what I'm thinking is like, I'm Ember Spirit. My hero naturally kills mobility heroes like Storm Spirit because I can max chains. But then a lot of Storms, they're not going to build fucking Yules, right? They're going to build Orchid and kill me first.
Yeah, I don't want it to sound like this framework is saying like you need to buy survivability every game.
It's However, I think it is that way for carries, to be honest. I don't think carries you kill the guy who threatens you first, and that's a solution.
Yeah,
because everybody's going to be killing you.
Most carries like to get jumped, or they don't like getting jumped.
Or like you need to survive all 5 enemies, not just like start. You don't like do pickoffs. I mean, like there's a variety of carries, so it depends. But I think that's more applicable to like mids and other roles where it's like you kill your threats. Whereas carries, I feel like you want to hit a point where you can survive every threat against you.
Yeah,
and then
that's
you can
easier on certain heroes than others.
Killing. Yeah,
I've been having a lot of fun playing a Lifestealer recently because his like identity as a hero is basically just to like survive. And then what will happen in these pubs is I'll have like Sanjin Yasha, Radiance, Aghanim Scepter, right? And you're just so fucking survivable with those items. And if the enemy goes on you with Rage, plus the Ags, with the Ags, you can like get inside somebody for like 4 seconds and survive.
And disarm them, yeah.
It's
very anti-carry.
Yeah, and a lot of the times what will happen is like I'll be intentionally out of position, and then the enemies will all jump me and they'll use a lot of spells, and I'll just survive. And I'll Aghanim Scepter inside one of them, and then my team will come and they have used spells and be out of position, and we'll just kill them all. It's really fun.
I'm feeling like a ghoul with my eye patch. I'm not gonna lie. I'm feeling like a Dota
Is your depth
ghoul.
perception a little messed up?
Because I feel like I'm gonna take it off and like reveal my Sharingan or some shit. Like I'm like Naruto.
Your what? Oh, I didn't watch.
You didn't get that? All right, sorry, my bad. Anyways, no, I'm feeling like a ghoul, the average ghoul that gets on my team and rolls you for position 1. Okay, were there more takeaways from that journal?
Yeah, because it's a blog. It's a blog. I wouldn't call it like a journal necessarily.
Sure.
Let me think. Okay, there's one. Okay, this one applies really well. There's one like article they wrote about, and this is just a mental model about how to solve problems and think. It's called Inversion. So the real life example would be, if you want to achieve a goal, don't ask yourself how to achieve it, or like obviously you should, but like that's not the whole story. Ask yourself what you would need to do to not hit the goal, and then you just avoid that, and then you'll naturally hit it, which is really smart. It's like, I mean, I don't want to get into all. I'll get into Dota
example. I mean, no, the Dota example really quick. You're gonna explain yours, but immediately what I think is it's not what it takes to win, especially in our lobbies where they're not the hardest lobbies. Like, it's not about, I need to do what it takes to win, like have like really perfect gameplay. I need to like not do what it takes to lose.
Yeah,
and what a really good analogy. And what it is to not lose is like, don't dive the fucking tier 4s like animal, and like don't listen to your lion when he says just fight under the tower. Like that's just push, because that makes it so much more clear. To win, I'm like, I gotta carry this fucking like dumbass lion and like pop off and go 30-0. Like that's not what I should be thinking about. What I need to think about is like, don't listen to lion when he tells me to fight 5 enemies in their fucking tier 3s.
Yep. I think there's a sweet spot there, because a lot of lower MMR players will be too passive. But I think once you hit like, I want to say like 3 to 5k MMR, and you like understand that your hero can like kill other heroes and like make offensive plays, then it's a good time to start like focusing on the balance. Of course, every player is different.
I think we've discussed this concept before, but I think maybe we haven't actually. But we've discussed it in private / with people.
Yeah, I don't think we've talked about it on the podcast.
And what it is, I think you know what I'm alluding to, is at a certain point, there's like an inflection point where, because if you watch Speed, right, or I don't know if BSJ does this much.
Does that guy play Dota anymore?
I think he's just Deadlock Perma.
No, he'll be
no. He's been on Dream League. He's been on the Dream League.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Deadlock is not all that.
Which, by the way, is fantastic content. And at the time of recording, it's Halloween today. The Dream League second group stage is starting tomorrow, which I'm definitely going to be on. I'm definitely going to be on that.
Yeah. So, the Dota Pro scene is spicy right now with like Heroic.
No, but Heroic didn't make it.
No.
They bombed out in groups.
Damn.
Group 1.
It's
so crazy.
I really like Tundra with Nightfall carry, 33 Saksa in the off lane.
Yeah, Tundra's cool.
They're cool. I wanted to give an example of Inversion in like a team fight. So your application was really good on the macro scale. On the micro scale, you can think about a specific team fight, and you can think about like, how do I lose this team fight as a carry? I die. Yeah. So how do I die? And then that forces you to think about the exact combination of spells that the enemy team needs to kill you.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
Is like you're a PA and there's Axe.
Yeah.
How do I lose the team fight? I fucking go in on some animal that's not like before Axe shows, and then Axe calls me and shits on me.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you lose the team fight. So what do I need to do? I need to not go in until Axe goes in. And this also reminds me, maybe we've discussed this, but there was a game. But
say it again.
Yes. Okay. Watson was against BSJ, Banana Slam Judas, and BSJ was on Morph. Or sorry, no, BSJ was not on Morph. BSJ was on Faceless Void, and Watson was Morph. And how does Watson lose the team fight? Obviously, you didn't have the context of the game, but the way Watson loses the team fight is that he gets chronoed and fucking dies, okay? And so what does he have to do to win the team fight? Not get chronoed. So there was and BSJ was aware of this as well. And so there was a team fight where like he went in early on, like BSJ went in early on Void, and then Watson came in and cleaned up. And then BSJ waited much longer, but then he got impatient, went in on Void, and then Watson cleaned up again. And then there was one team fight where he said like, okay, I have to chrono Morph to kill him. That's how I win the team fight. And he waited for like 2 minutes of the team fight while his team's scrapping with the other 4 heroes.
That's insane.
Watson doesn't show. And then BSJ goes in and like doesn't even chrono, I think, but he like goes in and starts pressing buttons, and then Morphling shows and like kills him.
Yeah.
So like that just goes to show like he is avoiding, and like he didn't get impatient. Like for Watson, it's like the way I lose this team fight is I get chronoed. That's all I have to do is not get chronoed. I'm gonna win the team fight. And he didn't sway. He's like, oh, but my team's getting baited. If you get chronoed, you're gonna lose. If you're PA against Axe and you go in and get called on blade mail, you're going to lose the fight.
What's interesting about that to me is just like the resolve that Watson has. Like he doesn't give a fuck. Like he will wait as long as it takes for the other guy to make the move. Like
he's avoiding that lose condition.
Yeah,
no matter
and I feel like when it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing in the moment to
watch your whole team die.
To actually wait for I'm assuming it wasn't actually 2 minutes because that's a really long time. It was like a minute probably. If it was like a minute, I mean, dude, like the resolve. You're
watching your team scrap at like the Roche pit for a minute.
Yeah.
And you're just like not participating really intense. On
It feels like I've been in this state before when I play Ursa against Axe.
It's like so disturbing.
It's like similar to the PA example. No, I feel like I'm griefing. By just not going in. Because I'm literally just sitting on a high ground like waiting. And then I wait and then the Axe goes in and then I go on the Axe and kill him and we win the fight. It's so interesting. This relates to I don't want to talk about this for too long, but I've been grinding sales recently as like a skill that I'm learning. In sales, the equivalent of this is like if you want to get somebody to talk, like you just pause. So like there are times when I'm on these sales calls and I'll literally just pause for like 15 seconds and it feels so awkward, but it like always gets them talking and it always makes you more likely to like get the sale. It's like that.
The thing is, my ill-ass thought is like you pull up to someone and you're like at the bar and you're like, hey. And then they're like, hey, and you just go silent for like 20 seconds.
That's funny.
It's like, oh, I'm going to force them to talk, bro.
I mean, it would work. They would probably be uncomfortable.
It would say some shit. Yeah, it would be uncomfortable for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it also applies like not right when you start talking to them. Because in sales as well, it would be weird.
In sales, there's like a motive
how you doing?
to like
Pause
this discussion.
For 40 minutes. Yeah,
exactly. No, there's like a motive to why you're having the discussion.
They also want to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They chose to be there.
But to stray from, I don't want to talk about sales too much. But
sure.
So this is probably the most based thing that I read today. I actually wrote down this quote. I was like in a coffee shop just like reading and I was like, holy shit, like I want to talk about this on the podcast. I'll just read the quote.
Sure, let's hear
it. If you're like most people, you've never been explicitly taught how to make effective decisions. You make decisions like a golfer who never took any lessons. Miserable with the state of your game and yet not seeking to learn a better swing. And this is the base part. And instead, hoping for the best every time you lift the club. Hoping that this time your choice will finally work out.
This is such a base
That's
quote
just
on many
every
fronts.
Fucking Dota player ever, man. You queue up and you feed, and you don't think about why you fed, and you just queue it up again.
I like the fact that they're dissatisfied with the state of their game.
Yes.
Because that's what these players are, who like flame and you're losing and they're feeding. They're dissatisfied with the way the game's going.
But they don't do anything to change it. They just queue it up again and like hope that they get better teammates or whatever. Like
man. I hate that.
They just like pray things will work out. Or they think they just like got unlucky.
Guys, it's in your hands. It's in your hands.
Yeah.
You can change it. You can work on your swing.
So many people.
I love that. Like... No, that is such a good quote. Like outside of Dota 2, just life.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you where like I feel like the norm is to just like fucking hope. Just hope. I hate that shit, bro. Stop hoping. Yeah. Start doing something. I love the fact that like the quote also like puts a lot of energy because it's like, oh, you can just work on your swing. That's what people aren't doing. They're not working on their swing. They're not improving their game.
Yeah, I don't get it. I see it in other aspects of life as well. Like in, not to bring up sales again, but like in sales, like it's a skill, just like Dota is a skill. And so many people, and the reason I like sales is because it's a skill where if you get better, it just means you make more money. Yeah. So it's like fun to grind. But these people, they're dissatisfied with the state of their game and they don't make an effort to improve. I don't get it. I see it in Dota as well. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand. It couldn't be me. But obviously some people like don't want to necessarily improve. So that's fair. But I guess the key point of that quote, like you said, is they are dissatisfied.
Dude, and this reminds me as well where like I've given coaching on Dota, not like official coaching, because it was like my friends, so it was like I was like analyzing replays with them.
You should run like a package coaching deal.
If you're interested in coaching, guys, comment in the fucking put in the comments.
I know I've coached some of you guys before, and they've been good times, and you guys have learned a lot.
But what I was gonna say is that I coached some of our friends, watched their replays with them, et cetera, et cetera. And so clearly they asked for replay review. They asked for coaching. They're dissatisfied with the state of their game. That's implied. But then I give them, I don't know what this would be in the analogy, but they want like the secret sauce. They want me to be like, oh, if you rebind your keys to this, you're going to go up 2,000 MMR or some shit. Like they're looking for like the secret little like Krabby really Patty formula.
All of a sudden their golf swing will be perfect after exactly. Like you say one thing.
They want the little trick that like is the problem with their golf swing. But I love the golf analogy because I'm sure the problem with the golf swing, I'm not a golfer, but it's a very like mechanical sport. It's
a lot of little things
requires a lot of finesse. And same thing in Dota where like the problem with your golf swing is probably a lot of little things. Probably with your Dota game, when I'm coaching these people, I'm like, what do I say? It's the same shit every time. I'm like, bro, you need to fucking aggro the creeps.
Yeah.
You need to last hit the creeps.
Numbers up.
You need to like CS the fucking creeps. You're buying bad items. It's all these small things. They don't want to hear like, oh, like I wouldn't have went bracer in this fucking lane. Or like, I wouldn't have gotten stick. They don't use spells or some shit. They want to hear like, if you just fucking do this, you're going to carry, right?
To be fair, I think shit. before like 6K, there are more of those like big ideas that like are like wow moments. So if you guys want to learn those, sign up for our coaching. I'm just kidding.
But also the other thing about that is like, I just don't want to encourage, even if there are big things, it's more important to encourage the fact that like, being someone who focuses on the small things is what makes you improve. Someone who's dissatisfied with your state of the game, but willing to improve on the small things, willing to change the state of your game, right? Because there's only so many big revelations you can have before you actually have to get into the fucking nitty gritty of it. And like actually
and just go 1v1 some dudes.
You may think like it may sound ridiculous. This is something we discussed recently because we were watching some pro Dota, I think, and we were talking about refresher item usage.
Oh, yeah. This is a really good example.
When you press refresher, that shit is a lot of buttons, no fucking doubt, right? Because let's say you have like a 6-second BKB, you need to BKB, press every button on your fucking keyboard, because a lot of the times what people will do is they'll refresh late, so they'll like have a 6-second BKB, and then they'll like be at like 1 second left in their BKB, or like the BKB's expiring, and then they'll refresh, and then they're like pressing their BKB late, and they get stunned after their BKB, their first BKB, and they.
Or if you need to like blink right away after you refresh it, the buttons need to be quick.
Like you need to press because refresher spellcasting is just a skill, and you need to like press your refresher like 4 seconds after your first BKB, and then like be ready right as your BKB is expiring to press every button again, at least your BKB.
I think that refresher example is one that like kind of just snuck into the Dota world because refresher orb wasn't really popular for like
people have gotten a lot better
to like 2020 Dota.
Yeah.
But now like you see like these Ursas, these like Slarks, these carry heroes.
Everybody. I think refresher is one of the best items in the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Even like Storm Spirit, they're like building these refresher orbs. But nobody like, and I'm guilty of this. I would like buy refresher in a pub, and I wouldn't press my buttons while in the team fight because I've never fucking practiced it.
Yes,
and
exactly.
all it took, I actually did this a few days ago. I went into a demo lobby and I just practiced my Ursa refresher combo. Now on Ursa, it's hard because you need to like blink instantly and not take any damage, ideally. Obviously, it's not like that every time. But it took a couple tries for me to like get comfortable with it, you know? It's not easy. It's a lot of buttons.
And we could delve into like the complexity of pressing the refresher. But because also with the Ursa example, I think we were watching someone who was playing Ursa, and he did a really good job where like he pressed BKB, pressed all his buttons, pressed refresher after like 4 seconds. So he's still in his BKB. And then I remember he repressed Enrage at the end of his BKB, but didn't press everything. He didn't press BKB again. Yeah. He saved it. But it's important that he got the refresher off, so he got everything back. He can press Enrage. He can press he like used his second blink, pressed Enrage, pressed his W, but he didn't use his BKB. So there's a lot of like nuance to like what
and it changes based on the situation.
Yeah,
which obviously like comes with mastery.
So all of this, the whole point of this is that it's difficult. So how do you improve it? Are you going to improve it by queuing it up again and praying that your swing gets better with your fucking club? No. What you're going to do, this is what we did. And maybe you don't need to do this. You need to actively work on it, whether that be in a norm where you buy refresher and you like consciously think about your spell casting after going in a demo lobby and thinking about your spell casting.
That's less efficient than
what we did. Is we played turbo, and I played like turbo with fucking refresher on SF and like thought about how I was going to cast my spells, and it's great practice. But the more important point besides where you practice it is that you consciously practice the skill.
Yeah, if you don't, you're not going to improve.
So refresher is a big example where like it's like kind of late game and nuanced.
I feel like that's a big blind spot with even good players, like this refresher thing.
I think Dota players in general don't focus on mechanics enough. Because that's like some League of Legends shit. Hate to say it, where it's like they're like, oh, my perfect combo.
The piano.
Exactly.
Combo.
Like they're great at that, and they just like don't use their fucking brains. Dota players the opposite, where like they like use their brains, but they don't like. No one's like, wow, my spell casting on my refresher orb is like kind of disturbingly bad or like slightly off.
But if you watch pros doing it, like it's an art. Especially to continue on the Ursa example, like Ursa will have Abyssal Blade, Nullifier, BKB, his Q. His W,
his ult,
and Rage.
He's not pressing all of them. Yeah, but he's not pressing all of them, right? Like he's pressing what he needs to. Like he presses the refresher. He like blink Abyssal, kills somebody. He doesn't nullify them unless they need to be nullified. Maybe he like saves
exactly.
Nullifier.
It's all those buttons pressing them exactly when he needs them.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, main point is like when I tell people, oh, like I'm watching like this started with like me coaching like my friends, and they're like, oh, what do I need to improve? And I'm like, oh, you need to like aggro, and they're like, that's cool. I ain't gonna work on my swing though, and then they don't do it. What you need to do is play 10 games in a row where all you think about is aggro, man. Like you need to like focus on that shit. We've talked about isolation being base before.
It's so base.
This is the same thing. Like in any skill, okay? Because also, I play water polo. We both play water polo.
Don't get into the specifics of water polo.
Sure,
bro.
I won't.
And that shit is way too hard to explain.
Yeah, it's a sport. But what I was gonna say is that like when you're like you need to focus on specific skills in water polo to improve. I'm not just gonna like because I mean these are physical. So to be fair, Dota spellcasting is also physical. You're pressing buttons on a keyboard, but like your body doesn't have the muscle memory to like do this shit. Like when I'm in the water, I'm not gonna like do some specific ass shit when I like shoot the ball, right? So it's like you need to like isolate that and practice it, which is why like in sports people do drills, right? Like let me just work on like just this situation.
I have a really good topic for when you're done with this. No, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, well, I am done. That was about it. I had like drills are good, isolation's good, because it's hard. Like if you, for example, in water polo, if I just
I told you he wasn't done.
Yeah. If I just practice it, but like let's say I want to practice a skill, but it's in a game. How many times do I get to practice that skill? How many times in a normal game of Dota do I get to practice my refresher combo?
Like 0 to 1. 0 on average, actually.
Like 0 on average because I don't get to the refresher orb. Or like if I buy the refresher orb, it's like fucking, I don't know, like 3 or 4 team fights.
Dude, but a lot of the times with refresher as well, it makes the difference between winning the game-winning team fight. Because if you're like savvy with your refresher play, like you can solo carry a team fight on certain heroes. Like it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
But yeah, isolation, in sales as well, it works really well. Just focus on specific skills.
The Dota Club Podcast, by the way.
No, but what we're saying are like principles that apply to.
Sure.
My point is it applies to literally everything.
And
Dota, especially well.
So you can for viewers, you can apply this to Dota. But this is the cool thing I think about improving at things is that improving at things is a skill.
Yeah.
Right. Learning is a skill. So you can extrapolate this from Dota. Maybe your goals are in Dota, but I'm sure plenty of viewers have goals outside of Dota. Learning is a skill that you can refine, and you can apply all of this logic to other fields of your life, which is cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I want to talk about, so we talked about this privately off the camera, and you're going to know what I'm talking about, but I'm just going to explain it so everybody knows. And the term that I'm going to use, I love explaining things like this where there's like a succinct term for it. The red zone offense. Okay, we're going to get a little bit sporty here, boys. So if you're a super nerd, just bear with me. Oh, wait, this might be actually kind of hard because we probably have a lot of viewers who aren't American.
Think so?
So, yeah, dude, for
Comment
sure.
in the post in the comments if you're not American. I'm very curious on like the split here.
So, basically in the NFL, which is American football, the teams in the season who have the best red zone offense, and the red zone is basically, to make a long story short, when you're close to scoring. When you're really close to scoring. So the teams that have the highest percentage of actually scoring, when they are really close to scoring, so when they're in the red zone, they always make the playoffs. They always do the best, comparing no other stats. Only looking at how good their red zone offense is.
Okay, really quick. For the fucking Euros, I guess, or some shit. It's just like in soccer, like the teams who score or convert into scoring when the ball is
when they're close to scoring
near the goalie box, right? Like on the enemy's half of the field, on the other team's half of the field, or not even
yeah.
half, but like
I
in
mean,
front
I'll
of the
just
goal.
explain the American football analogy. Because I'm sure a lot of people here know American football as well.
Yeah.
When you're within 15 yards of the end zone, you're in the red zone.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like right at the end of the field.
Yes. So that was really interesting to me. Like looking at no other stats that the teams who convert from the red zone to the goal the most are the best teams. Now, that applies to Dota for sure. How does it apply? When you're close to winning the game, when your carry has an Aegis, when you're 10k gold ahead at, 30, 40 minutes, you are basically in the red zone. And so if you can just get better and refine that skill of not throwing when you're in the red zone, you're going to gain MMR. You're going to win a lot of games. You're going to be like a good player. If you like only focus on improving that skill.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting one because like the immediate like thought train is like, oh, but I need to get there. But realistically, you get there 50% of games, right? It's like if you're like your skill level of MMR, you're going to be in the red zone 50-50 pretty much. And so it's like, do you actually convert that 50%? Because let me tell you, other people in your MMR aren't converting every single red zone offense that they play, right? So like when they throw, you're going to have a chance to win. And if you convert every single one, like your win rate is going to be really high.
Yeah.
It also, you could view it in like the opposite sense where it's like none of the getting ahead, getting to the red zone mattered if I just throw the whole fucking game. Like how many people throw high ground,
I think
throw
that's
tier
the more
fours,
important point. Yeah. It's
ruin
like
their
so
Aegis. Like they just fucking, you should win the game. You're in a position where you should win the game. It's not even easy, man. Like that's the other thing is like, you get the first Aegis and you're like kind of up and people are like, it's so free. Yeah, if you're fucking the best team in the world and you're like in tournament, you're going to like execute this properly, maybe, right? But like you're also playing against better players. But like if you're fucking an ancient, man, and you're up 10k with an Aegis, you need to execute the fucking red zone offense properly, man. Yeah. You can't throw the fucking game in this ancient lobby. Yeah. What are you doing?
One thing that I've been doing on carry recently is just focus the racks. Like it sounds super simple.
Yeah.
Like if your team dives T4s, like just spend the time hitting the racks. I don't think I've ever lost a game when my team is team fighting them under their T4s and I choose on position 1 to just like hit the racks.
You know what it is?
Racks are so good.
It's one thing to ping the tower or ping the racks, but it's a different thing when you're diving and then somebody pings the racks, you pan your camera back and it's the carry who pinged it and he's just like hitting that shit. Because like if the carry's diving too, you're like, let's go, boy.
Yeah, no, exactly.
If the carry's diving too, you're like, he's in on it. Let's go. But when you see your carry ping the racks and he's hitting it, you're like, my bad, sir. Sorry, sir. Like I look like a fucking buffoon right now. But yeah, I have noticed you've been doing that. It's pretty good on Lifestealer. You're just sitting there like hitting that shit.
Yeah. Do you just rage if they try to hit you?
Yeah. Lifestealer, dude, I love playing with Lifestealer recently.
Yeah, I mean, he just makes the game easier. He carries through making the game easier to play for his team. Everything he does makes it easy for his team.
What you need to do, if you haven't, you should watch Krabby's video on Lifestealer. What was that video called again? The one where you analyze like
Tale of Two Lifestealers, I think.
Yes.
That one was really good.
Yes, that was a great video.
Fucking based ass content, bro.
Yeah, no, that was extremely based. Because what I was gonna say is the benefit that Lifestealer provides to his team that I notice when I play with it is that at least when I play with you, because you're the person who I play with.
Yeah, I also play to Lifestealer's identity really well.
And this is, I think, the most important thing on Lifestealer. If you care to learn Lifestealer, anyone watching, is you sit in your lane alone and defend the tower, and your team shows up in counter ganks if they try to kill you.
Because you can survive for so long if they try to kill you, usually.
Yes.
Because you have Rage and Infest.
Infest is a big one.
Infest is a survivability tool, guys. Don't get baited by your team to like Infest bomb. It's bad.
Okay, I agree with
I will tell you from playing Lifestealer, it's bad 90% of the time to use Infest offensively. That shit is like one of the best defensive tools in the fucking game, bro.
I will say,
so
though, I like when you get infested, the move speed and the health is like fucking crazy, though. I think late is better.
But I'll do it like mid team fight to you.
Okay. Because basically, true. You're using it as a save as well.
Yeah, it's a save and it heals me. So it feels the best when I do it like mid team fight. If I'm a quarter HP and then I see like you, Ember Spirit, you're also like kind of low, and then I infest you, you gain a bunch of HP.
And we're both just like swagging out.
Yeah, and then I like pop out and then just go ham with another Rage. It also gives you rage time to come off cooldown.
That should also like bridges the gap. This is like getting to like very minute details, but this is Dota related. But what I like about that, especially on Ember, who's low cooldowns, but this honestly is most heroes, is that like I'll cast on my spells and then you'll be low because you use your rage and they like hit you after, and then I'll be low, and then you'll infest me and give me time to bridge the gap to my second round of spells, and then I get to like do a whole nother shebang and like fucking pop off.
No, that's a good point. That's what happens. We've won so many team fights like that.
An extra like 5 or 6 seconds a lot of times. I mean, because like honestly, heroes have pretty similar spells or cooldowns on their spells. Like 12 or like 10 to like 20-second like rotations. But bridging the gap to that second one is super, super good. Yeah, but I think the main thing for
thumbnail of us in the costumes. I'm just thinking about it. Sorry.
There's probably one in here already.
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't mean I was gonna like get a pic. I didn't mean I wanted.
Oh,
to
you were
get a
thinking
right now.
you
were thinking about the thumbnail.
It is a good one.
1, 2, 3 pose. No, I'm just kidding.
You got to get like the Halloween. Who's the Halloween themed hero in Dota? It's like Muerta. That's D'Angelo's Muerta.
There should be like a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern hero. There should be a pumpkin hero, like a.
You're Jack. Dude. No, there should be like a scarecrow, right?
Yeah, scarecrow. That's what I'm talking about. That would be cool.
That would be fucking sick.
That'd be a cool new hero.
Fiddlesticks. Sorry.
No.
Sorry. My bad. Yeah.
I feel like Dota should introduce ARAM to the main game. That would be kind of cool. ARAM
I hate to say it.
In League of Legends, it's all random, all mid.
There's a custom game of it.
It's just super casual in League to just queue up some ARAMs. It's just like 5 heroes mid. Everyone just cast their spells on each other. Like you can do it and just chat with your friends. Like nobody really cares. They're quick.
Yeah. Dude, okay, because there's a Dota ARAM. We're like, I don't know if I'm trying to get into this necessarily. Yeah, there's a Dota ARAM custom game.
It's fun.
Yeah. But Dota's just like, it's hard to appeal to a casual audience, honestly.
Yeah, I guess it's different because
the ARAM has Roche, man. Like it really has Roche.
That's fucking
it's like a little Roche team fight. I'd D-ward them and shit. Like, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's hard to appeal it to a casual audience.
Yeah, Valve could do a lot with Dota. I can't believe Act 4 is not out yet. Like, what?
I'm waiting for it, man.
Dude,
I want to play Kaz.
So long. Is Kaz coming for sure with Act 4?
I think in the trailer they said like with Act 4. I'm pretty sure, but maybe I misremember.
Artiz has been streaming a shit ton as well. There are a lot of like YouTube. There are a lot of YouTube clips of or not clips. It'll just be like a video of him playing the game from his stream. And there's an abundance of Artiz content, which is really rare for like the Dota scene. So carry players are really happy about that. Artiz is funny to watch because he takes his games like super lightheartedly most of the time. And he's just like a pretty charismatic dude. I don't know. He
is a pretty charismatic dude. I agree. No, it's interesting as well because I'm not a carry player, but like I think just because he's charismatic, like I like what heroes he plays. He just has like a certain swagger on them. He's like on like SF and Bloodseeker and shit.
Just spamming SF.
Yeah, SF is fucking goofy. I'm so bad at laning on SF, but because now people don't take the Shadowmire facet, and that shit was like
I
when
miss
it was
Shadowmire.
good.
Shadowmire
because you just kill people. You literally just kill.
Now
people.
You just farm. I mean, you can still kill, boring. But like
you have to have the stuns. Like that's why he's better as one.
Yeah.
Another
thing Artiz will do that like makes good content is he'll like laugh at things his teammates say, which like sounds like a small thing, but it just makes his character more like lively.
He interacts with his teammates a lot as well.
There was this like I think it was this Russian like Tusk with a vessel going on a Morphling. The Morphling was on the enemy team, and he was like, "Guys, this Morphling is not having a good time." And Artiz just like lost his shit when he heard that or something, or he was like, "This Morphling is not happy." And it like doesn't even sound that funny, but like because Artiz laughed at it, it like became funny. He was like, "Guys, the Morphling's not having a good time."
Yeah.
Because if you imagine yourself in the Morphling shoes, he's not having a fucking good time.
He isn't with the Tusk fucking Vessel. Vessel. I forgot what they buffed about Vessel. Oh, it was like when you die, you always get a charge now. That's it. Which apparently was a Giga buff. Who fucking knows?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I think it is.
Because before
it makes it less snowbally.
Before it's like if you have 0 charges and you die, you get charges.
Oh.
But now it's always every time you die.
I mean, it makes a difference.
I guess.
Probably like plus 4 or 5 charge.
my friends list, and it was like it was like 2 hours or some shit after the patch dropped, and then he's just like in a demo as Witch Doctor, and then the next day on like Dream League, he talks about like how the Gris Gris is crazy. I'm like, are you fucking serious, man? Are you serious? When you read the patch, that's like the first one he sees.
It's just indicative of like a certain mindset. I don't know. Like it's cool. I agree. It's a cool mechanic, but it's like out of everything,
all the support players fucking coomed when it was the Gris Gris and it was the Warlock book where you get XP and you pop that shit late game. Like they just love
that one's
shit.
different though because it doesn't.
No, it's when you get assists.
Yeah, I like that one. That's a cool mechanic.
The Grimoire. That shit goes crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to write down when I think we have a good clip for the intro. So this is like 40.
Yeah.
The Gris Gris one will probably go hard. Like people love the Gris Gris. It has like a catchy name too.
People do love the Gris Gris. I'm sad. I haven't been that up to date on this patch. That's the thing. Because I want to talk about like
this. It's been the same for months, so
I know, but I haven't been up to date on this patch, anyways. Are you up to date on this patch? Like, what's OP? Solar Crest,
Sand King
mid, Solar Crest.
Okay, I didn't even know that Solar Crest was OP.
Do you think it's OP?
I don't know. It feels good. I don't think it's like OP. I think Artiz made a really good point about carries in this patch. Like a hero like Luna. Luna's one of the most picked carries. And Artiz was like, is she OP? No, by no means is she overpowered. She's just very stable, and all of the other carries suck.
Oh, I had a different idea.
Which was interesting.
Which is...
I think all the other carries suck. Like fucking Jug.
I think what... Yeah. Well, wait, but think about Luna and SF. This is actually the full circle connection made live on the podcast. But... I think what support items are OP, because I think the other carries are so weak, are dictating which carries are good. Because what do supports build right now? They build Solar Crest drums. You put that shit on SF and Luna, right?
Yeah,
like those are two of the best. Those are the two of the best carries when they're buffed, I think.
Yeah, I mean, other carries feel good. It feels good on Lifestealer too. I think Lifestealer is pretty good in the right game.
I mean, like, who does it feel bad on? To be fair.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm thinking about that. Yeah, Ursa. Ursa's a good one.
Yeah.
Anyone who doesn't mind drums, but I guess he doesn't benefit from.
He doesn't want attack speed. He doesn't want attack speed. They're both attack speed.
Yeah.
I mean, SF is like a crazy example though. SF is like cracked with.
Yeah, because he has naturally low attack speed.
Drums solar.
Yeah.
Well, he's all damage. I mean, same with like Drow, right? But Drow sucks.
I don't think Luna's like particularly cracked with like Solar Crest or anything. It's good. It's good for sieging.
Yes. Yeah,
it's not like cracked. Like it's good. She likes it, but it's like I agree. SF is like cracked.
But she has she has damage in her kit. She has Lunar Blessing. And it affects the whole team. So everybody wants attack speed.
Oh,
that's
true.
I solved it. Drums is OP, bro. You
you
press the drums on the Lunar Blessing.
I'm saying it's good. I'm not saying it's like the most cracked shit ever.
No, it's OP as fuck.
But yeah, Artiz's point was interesting. He said there are like 7 carries that are pickable. 3 out of those 7 are like pretty good. And then every other carry is just dog shit. And I agree. Carry's in such a bad state right now. Like, I want to play some Jug, man. I feel like the carry players feel me. Jug is so fun. And he got like 2 days of glory recently before they nerfed him when they introduced the facets.
They really just butchered him randomly.
Yeah, why? People like him. He's a crowd favorite.
No, what was crazy was they butchered him. They like double killed it, right? Because Blade Form was good. Which is the like when you're running around.
One that builds up the agi when you.
Then they nerfed that shit, and then I think the other facet was good too, and they nerfed it too, right? Like they just fucking like they just didn't. They weren't having it, man. They weren't having it with Juggernaut. That's fucked up. I feel like carry these days. I mean, I don't know actually, but I feel like you have to play so scrappy.
Yeah, I mean,
to be fair, you're like
enough just to farm.
To be fair, you're like fucking Luna.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing scrappy heroes. I think Medusa is. I've been seeing a lot of Medusa.
That shit's ass.
She can just farm. Really? I don't think so. I've been seeing a lot of it. Let's see the pro tracker. I think it's good. Artiz.
It's good with solar drums.
Martizi. Medusa has a 52 second best carry on pro tracker.
Oh shit. She's good with solar drums. That's my theory.
Yeah. I mean, okay, who's bad with solar drums?
Ursa, bro.
Ursa.
Lena.
Yeah.
It sounds not bad because armor, but she doesn't need attack speed.
Yeah, she doesn't need attack speed.
I also think, I unironically think the Lunar Blessing is like fucking real. Because who else is good? Or who else was really good at TI? Carry Mirana, who gives your whole team damage. And then you press solar drums. Right? So, like, everyone's just fucking hitting. Like, I think it's a pretty physical damage patch, right?
Yeah.
Physical damage is good. Is that like a crazy take?
I think magical damage is pretty good too.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt it. You still got like your fucking mid heroes and shit.
Alchemist is popular. He's not a solar drums enjoyer.
Yeah,
but he doesn't mind. It's like if I'm like chem raged up on Alch and someone puts solar on me, like fuck it, dude. Like it's cool.
Yeah, attack speed does scale better with his low basic attack time. Alright. Solar drums, I don't know. I got no verdict here. It's good.
Bounty Hunter randomly has a 55% win rate.
You're checking the stocks, huh? Maybe I should do that too.
Oh, I guess Enigma's OP.
It's also dependent. I feel like certain roles depend, or it's the supports that determine the meta plus one of the two side lanes. I think it's either carries are strong or offlaners are strong, and I feel like the game's built around them. Right? I don't ever think the game involves the mid a lot, but I don't think like the mid meta is super dependent. Like people just play their heroes.
I mean, carries don't feel super good right now, and I feel like
exactly, but offlaners are good.
Offlaners build like auras, so it's not like it's a different
kind of
though. Carry. Yeah. So it's a different kind of like the carrying, I guess. Than
I know, but the game is the meta is determined by like I'm just saying that I don't think mid is a position that usually like determines the meta of the whole patch. Right? Like it's not when it's a fucking like auras patch or like a Vlad's patch or some shit. Like I'm not getting it on mid, right?
Yeah, it's usually
I'm just playing some ganker guy every patch. It's the same shit every patch.
Dude, I've been getting spoiled by playing with Cookie's position 5 recently, and I played with somebody who wasn't Cookie yesterday, and I actually fucking crashed out. They're so fucking bad, man. They're so bad. And then this
what did
guy's
they do
like,
wrong? What did they do wrong?
Play.
Besides pinging you and telling you what to do.
He fed First Blood like 20 seconds into the lane.
Okay.
But to be fair, it's like it's not his fault because the average MMR of the other 3 people in that lane was probably like 8k.
Okay.
And he's just like this divine.
No.
I know what he did wrong. He picked fucking Ancient Apparition. That's what he did wrong. We're just not fucking doing anything.
Dude, I hate when people.
Just so useless. I have the enemy.
No. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
And so, okay, what's the enemy? What's the enemy support cooking up? The enemy support, 9k player. He's picking Lich, and I'm Alchemist, and he's pressing his Frost Armor at the perfect time right before I do the Acid Concoction. Like that guy's cooking. That guy's cooking so hard. He's actually just smurfing. I can't do anything. And I have an AA who's like level 1 for the first 3 minutes.
What you gotta do, no. What you gotta do there is you gotta fucking walk up at both of them, acid them both, and then throw the concoction on Kim.
Armor.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta like swag out.
Well, he would armor himself as well. He would switch it up.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta like fucking. I guess okay. He's the goat. Whatever.
I mean, in theory, AL is okay if you put the fucking. I mean, it's just an MMR diff. Like, it's not even the guy's
exactly.
fault.
He's just out of his league. Because also this guy, we're just going in on him. But I actually have this gripe with AA players, guys. When you fucking have your ult, if you need to like figure out who can set you up so you can hit that shit. Because every AA either has their ult off cooldown the whole game, and the cooldown's like 30 fucking seconds, as in like 45 seconds. So like use that shit every 45 seconds, or they miss every ult. Because like in our game, I was playing Ember Spirit, I'm pretty sure, and it's like we should just do some like chains AA ult on anybody in the game.
Sounds really good.
And then this guy didn't do that. He just like farmed and tried to hit like global ults. Like you are fucking useless. Why'd you pick AA?
Yeah.
If you're gonna pick AA, you need to land all your fucking ults. That's just how it is, man. That's just not easy. As an AA is not an easy hero. Yeah, exactly.
And it's hard to make the lane work as well on him. I feel like it's really easy to be like.
You have to be really diligent. Like you need to buy a bunch of blood grenades. You need to like cold feet and like throw your E and combo with people with stuns. But like you need to do it because if you just sit there, you don't do anything. You actually have to kill them, I think, on AA, which is strange.
I was getting beamed that lane, man. And when you asked me like what he did wrong, it's like a lot of. I mean, this guy's divine, so like he has the right idea.
Yeah.
Oh, when he fed First Blood, he didn't have TP. He TP'd to the lane after the bounty rune. So it's just like it's just like a ruin, right? First of all, like from there, I forgot about that. But what I was gonna say is like he has.
I think it's over at that point.
Yeah, But this is another thing he did wrong. I have a feeling he might be a viewer, by the way. So like, it's not personal, but it's not personal if you're watching this. But like I said, it's just annoying because we queue into like a 5-stack of high MMR players who we shit stomped the last game. So like they're sweating their asses off. So like it's not really your fault. And they're like,
was he the one fanboying? I don't think so.
No, he wasn't. That was the handout beast feeding free kills to them.
We were playing against like a Merlini stack, and in the lobby, one of our teammates like started fanboying in all chat. It's like, it's over.
Yeah.
Dude.
What I was gonna say though is this Divine player has the right idea. He knows he needs to unblock the small camp, but it's just not fast enough. So he died without a TP, and he walked back to lane, and he didn't have a sentry.
Oh my!
And then he couriered a sentry. So it's like he knows what
it's the combination of a million things wrong.
Slow. It's just way too slow. Like, dude, come on. Like, Cookie would have a sentry there, like, before the horn.
We talked about, like, demon mindset to a certain extent, which is a hard concept to explain. But I think, like, it's interesting because this guy, what this reminds me of, he has all the right ideas, but actually applying them, you have to, like, it's a very precise thing. Timing matters. You need to make your moves. And I feel like they just, like, go through the motions really lazily.
Yeah,
right? Like, I need a sentry, send the sentry, sentry's
Nothing
here.
Nothing he was doing was, like, with intent, it felt like.
Exactly. Like, you're running out from base. You need to bring that because you're not going to be in lane, right? And you're going to get there. Like, I don't know. For me, it's just like it's not aggressive enough. Like, he knows what he needs to do, but you underestimate. This is just my read, but I think a lot of people do this wrong. Like, you underestimate what it takes to actually put it in. Like, you need to act with a lot of intent. And acting with intent is a huge point that we've discussed recently in private.
He was just a passenger in that lane. Like, he was just going with the flow of what was happening, and the enemies were controlling what was happening. We were not controlling what was happening.
Okay. I think talking about intent is really important because you and me have not played a lot of Dota, as in we've been playing more recently, but we have. Exactly. Month. Yeah, exactly. In the last month, we haven't played that much. So we've been getting back into it and like de-rusting. And the thing that I noticed is the biggest issue is exactly what we just talked about, where like I'll underestimate what it takes and I won't play with intent. I know, for example, I know I shouldn't dive tier 4s. How many times have we talked about not diving tier 4s on this podcast? And then I will like be in a game and just be taking it easy and just hanging out, and I'll fucking dive the tier 4s and I'll throw the whole game. And like I just underestimated what the Dota game takes. Like every single action should be with intent. And so many people just like are not thinking actively, and like they underestimate what it takes. They're like, oh, I know diving the tier 4s like fucking ruins the game, but like, fuck it. Like this one looks different, and that shit's never different. Right. So same thing with like the sentry shit in lane. Like I think people need to act with intent, not just like know the good things. Just because you know good things doesn't do anything for you.
This guy was very reactive, not proactive. He didn't expect the enemies to block it. Like, he saw it was blocked, and then he has the sentry on the courier, and it's too late at that point, honestly.
It's a fucking sport. It's a competition, right? Like, the enemy team is trying to win. And I think, like, you're not just like, oh, I'm just hanging out, and, like, the proper thing to do is, like, I'm going to sentry when he sentries. No, like, the other guy's trying to fucking shut your shit down, bro. He's trying to shut down the small camp.
Yeah, the small camp is a good asset to our lane.
And who are you? You're the boss ass
resource, brother.
You're the fucking boss ass lich. You defend that shit, brother. Like he comes over to sentry, fucking little frost blast, and you beat the fuck out of him and like deward his shit. It's a competition.
To be fair, he was A, and that lich was making him his bitch. Like
but like you still gotta get swaggy with it. Like let's see you get. Did he block like the hard camp?
I think he did. But he's got to unblock the small.
He's got to hit a little fucking unblock on the small, body block the hard. Like he's got to be a demon. That's my point. Is like I feel like a lot of people just like go through the motions. Like that's not being a demon, right? That's not like, being in.
For me, that comes out after I've queued a few games and I like feel jaded. And usually when I am in that state, it's just because I'm like chasing the feeling of winning, and I don't necessarily like want to play Dota. I just want like the dopamine boost from like
winning
having a good game on carry
as well.
Yeah, like, it takes every single second you're playing. Like you have to be, conscious and thinking and like playing with intent. And people play Dota for different reasons, but for me, like if I'm not ready to do that, I don't really want to queue Dota.
It's also I think that's a big source of frustration for players, just to like psychoanalyze our fucking randoms. But I think a lot of players don't play with intent, and when you don't play with intent, or let's do the contrary. When you play with intent, every decision was made actively by you, so you can't really escape the responsibility, right? Whereas like if you're not playing with intent and you're just hanging out and you follow your teammates' bad decisions, then it feels so easy to just like blame your teammates or like not take responsibility. And that's frustrating for people as well, like feeling like they're not in control of the game. So that's what like I think a lot of toxic people, that's why they take it out, is because they're not good enough to actually have control of the game. But yeah, so my original point is like playing with intent means that it was all your active decision making. You can never like write something off as like I just wasn't paying attention and followed my dumbass like lion, right?
Yeah.
So playing with intent's just good, and it's an active game. It's a competition. It's a sport, to a certain extent, right?
An esport, some might say.
Yes, exactly.
It's headed to the Olympics 2028.
But like sport being like a competition, right? And so you got to be more on top of it than the other guy. It's not just something where you go through the motions and get results, right? You're not playing against bots. You're playing against humans. You know, they fucking adapt and shit.
Well, before a certain MMR, they're like bots.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they ain't good. They ain't good.
I don't mean to dehumanize anybody.
Well, let's just dehumanize our randoms. Fuck it.
Okay, we're approaching the hour mark. I think this is a pretty solid episode. Is there anything else that you want to say?
Happy Halloween to all the viewers. That's it.
Yeah, true.
Play some pubs.
What was I going to say? Are our European viewers just going to think we're dumbasses because they don't know what Halloween is? like look at these goofy Americans.
No, exactly. Like, what is wrong with these guys?
I don't know if I'm going to upload the one that we recorded like a week ago because it was...
I think it was pretty
You thought it was mid. I thought it was okay.
Well, I didn't watch it back.
Now that we have this one, I feel like I'm just going to
This one's a heater.
This one. This one's pretty good.
I'm waiting for Act 4. Listen, we'll record maybe. Hey, we have to.
I want to upload this like today though.
Before exactly, no, upload this before Act 4, and then Act 4 we need to drop an episode.
Wait, Act 4 might just come out like today. Wouldn't that be insane?
It's Wednesday. It's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Shit,
it might be out.
If it comes out today, it's crazy.
No, it's not out yet. All right. Let us know in the comments if you're enjoying. If you're still around. Thank you for watching this far. Till next
Someone
time.
comment if you went to Halloween as a Dota hero. I want to know if anyone went to Halloween as a Dota hero.
Dude, imagine if you had a Dota girlfriend and you dressed up as like CM Sven or something.
I thought you were going to say like CM Jug.
Or CM Jug, like anything like that. I don't know.
I'll be IO. How about that?
Yeah. That would go hard with like the cube, I feel like.
No, exactly. That's
you have like a tether. It's like a fucking sheet.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, later, guys.
You want to be? Let's be. Sorry, I'm just cutting off your intro.
No, what is
your exit. I was gonna say let's be IO Ursa and I'll be IO next year, bro.
Ursa would go hard actually.
Ursa would go crazy, and I'm IO. Oh. When we go to TI, wait, we have to have. Oh, but it's not Halloween.
Yeah.
I
think with some additions to my Nature's Prophet fit, this could also be fucking hard.
Yeah, the horns go crazy.
Cosplay contest.
The horns look good.
Yeah. So. All right, I'm gonna end the recording.
Right, see ya.
Later, boys and girls.